Hey, what's growing on, Florida? It's Noel Santana. Today is August 7th. It is 96 degrees, but it feels more like it's 106. And I'm going to do a little garden update, a little midsummer update. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. So here we have our little hedge of elderberry, or elder hedge. And this is a black diamond crepe myrtle. I just dug up a bunch of yucca and then I replanted a few those sticks. That's how you propagate them from cutting. Got sweet potato, so this is gonna be some root vegetables growing in here. I have a little bit of mint. This is the mulberry. Haven't had any berries from it yet, but it's growing pretty tall. Thinking about moving it to someplace with more sun now that it's more established. These are Mexican sunflowers. They have not given any sunflowers yet. There's a bunch of tarragon back here. There's a papaya, another papaya, some rosemary, chaya or spinach tree. Some more papayas, some banana. I have lots of beans all throughout here. I have purple cowpeas. I've been picking them, getting a lot of them actually lately. Alright, so we got some more bananas. This back here is a blackberry. Been growing a lot this summer. I think I'm gonna get some good berries off it come springtime. I cut off the top to try to encourage it to bush out a little bit. I see one here and there was another one down there somewhere starting to sprout off. I'd like it to get really bushy. This here is Okinawa spinach. Has a little red on the back. Has a nice citrusy taste. It's Genera bicolor, something like that. It's a two-color Genera, but there's also Genera crocumbens, which is longevity spinach that I have right here. You see this looks very similar, but it's all green. This one has more of a nutty, like a pea, like a green bean almost kind of flavor, with a little hint of like oregano kind of a taste. Bananas. These here, I believe, are ice cream bananas, which is what most of these are. It's either that or a Big Ben, something like that. Big Jim. But there were a lot more of a blue hue to them, which is why I'm thinking they're blue Java or ice cream banana. Most of these are. This one's giving some nice bananas here. Got a bunch of pups. Some more Mexican sunflower. I'm surprised they haven't had any flowers yet, but that's cool. They say that they only get to be 9 feet. This one here is already at like 9 feet, and I have some in the middle that are going on 12 or even taller than 12. Some more bananas. Got a lot of these relatives of turmeric. They're nice flowers. That one's just starting. Got an eggplant, hasn't done much. Some Monstera deliciosa. Some more bananas. Some more blackberry back here. Another Mexican sunflower. This big plant with the, you can't really see them, but it's got thorns. Itty bitty thorns all on the top and the bottom. The bottom thorns are a bit bigger. This is a Brazilian sunberry. It's a relative of tomato. It gives us nice little fruits that are related to naranjas. This is all the dirt that I took out of the compost, and that's all the leaves that I put in after I trimmed up this oak tree. I recently planted this. This is cyclic nut tree. Little rose bush from clipping that I started. It was doing really good, but then it got too hot, so I moved it over here, and now it's coming back. These are all gingers, turmerics, and relatives of turmeric that's in this. And then I have a yam. I got a yam growing up in there. And that's not it's not like what they consider the wild yam. That's the actual yam that you would buy. Not a sweet potato, but a yam. Or monstera. Growing in this oak tree, I have a few things. So, got a passion fruit vine that's starting to do pretty good. I just curved it in to make it go crossed. I have a, see the thick stem? Thick stem belongs to the loofah gourd. I have, come back here. So there's 5 of them. There's 3 on this side. See, 1, and then there's 2 next to each other up there. So there's 3 there, and then there's 2 right here. This year they put out huge gourds. I mean, some of these are 3 foot. There's one that's around 4 foot. This big one right there. So it's quite a few. And it looked like they might be starting to dry already, so I don't think I'll have to wait quite as long. Last time I had to wait till midwinter before they're ready to use as a sponge. I'll get lots of seeds and lots of sponges off these, but they're growing way too tall to eat as vegetables. I'd have to climb this tree to get them, and I'm not gonna do all that. But I got them. Okay. This is a beauty berry. You see, these are just starting to form their berries. I have some other ones on the other side that are already have ripe berries on them. This right here is a pokeweed. Has a lot of history. There was the Civil War. They actually had soldiers' letters that was written in the ink from these berries that are in museums to this day. Everything here with the 2 color, it's snow on the mountain. Got a lot of it. It just pops up through the roots. Over here is another mulberry that I started from a clipping. This one's doing excellent, really good. I think it's because I dug this ground up so deep. I dug it up 2 feet deep, and then it became like a pool, and then I filled it back in, and then I planted these. So it's a mulberry here. This is a loquat that I started from seed, and then a bunch of longevity spinach and some green onions. Over here, this is toilet paper plant. This is related to oregano or mint. It's in the mint family. Looks a lot like Caribbean oregano. The leaves are longer, more narrow. It's a bit softer on the top, and it has a different smell and totally different taste. If you were to taste this, it tastes kind of bitter, but it smells sweet. It smells really nice. They call it toilet paper plant because they would plant them to have a bunch back there. They would plant them all around outhouses, and it would improve the smell because they smell so nice. And they would just rip off a leaf whenever they needed to do their business, and there's your toilet paper. So this is some oregano. This is spicy oregano, regular oregano, lemongrass. These are beauty berries that already have the berries starting to form on them. They're already getting ripe. They're already formed. They're is starting to get ripe, I should say. Beautiful when they're all ripe. I'm sure that's why they call them beauty berries. Yeah, some beauty berries, some Philocarpa plant, and this is a pigeon pea. That's my dog Sunny. I recently dug up my Jaboticaba and put it back into a pot because it wasn't looking so happy where it was. So I'm gonna put it in a pot until it looks healthy, move it around in a place until I figure out where it wants to be. And hopefully by that time it'll be bigger and more healthy, and then I'll put it back in the ground. Got a few pots, some seeds I just planted. Some more bananas. These are pigeon peas. Lots of the Mexican sunflower. Now these, I try to look up what's the record on the height of the red Mexican sunflower, and everybody says they only get to be 9 feet. These are at least 12. There was 3 of them that was at least 12, but one of them broke with the little storm that we had. Actually, it was when I was trimming the tree. So you can see it goes up, bends over, comes back down. I'm 6 foot, and it just about doubles my height. This is a miracle tree, also called a white lead tree. It's a legume tree. Has edible legumes, but you don't want to eat it raw. It's better to cook them, even though I met some people that would eat the younger pods, the beans inside when they're still green. They eat them raw. This is elder, some more elder, and there's some pigeon peas growing with it. Another mulberry that I started. This is another psychic nut. I just put it into a bigger pot instead of putting it in the ground for now. Some fig trees that I started off from clippings. This one's growing with a pigeon pea. That one's growing with an oak tree. And I got some more pigeon peas growing in here, along with a little arugula, some thyme, some lemon balm or lemon mint, and some basil. It's all sweet basil or Genovese, a little bit of both. Some sugar cane, some more papayas, some sweet potatoes. Lots of sweet potatoes back here, growing all in the elder, little elder bush that I got going. And this here is a Chico Zapote. Can't wait for that to start giving me fruit. That'll be exciting. Some more sugar cane. In here, we've got some cucumber growing up the sugar cane. And keep on trying to make sure it doesn't get blocked. But there is a tamarind tree that I started from a seed that's been hanging in there. It just hasn't been thriving. I believe it's a slow growing tree though. This is my guava, pink guava. These were giving me lots of fruit, really nice sized fruit, plentiful. They started getting infected though. The back of the leaves were getting a white powder and black mildew. So it was like infected by 2 different things. So I trimmed it severely. Like I pretty much took all of the leaves off of it, and then I rubbed down the bark with diluted vinegar and hydrogen peroxide. I pretty much took care. You can see a little bit of old bark that has black on it still. But it pretty much took care of all that. But they haven't been giving me any fruit this year. Last time this time of year it was full of fruits. Not so much this year. That's fine. Hopefully that means next year it'll be twice as much. This right here is a pineapple guava has never given me fruit. But the first few years I was trimming it a lot to try to make it like a hedge. Now I'm just gonna let them grow into trees. See if that helps the fruiting. And oftentimes pull all of this out of here. The butterflies love these, but it doesn't give me any food, so it's gotta go. This right here looks like elephant ears. That's malanga, also known as taro or taro root or arrowroot. It's got a few names. Indian potato. But this is something that you could eat the leaves, but you have to cook it thoroughly. I mean, everything about this plant has to be cooked. You can eat the leaves or the roots raw. You have to cook it. But the root tastes a lot like potato. You just peel it, boil it up. It's really good. Eat a lot in Puerto Rico. That's what these are. It's malanga. There's actually a few little things here and there. This is Concord grapes. Concord grapevine. There's no grapes. This back here is Arabic coffee. So that's like the coffee that you get coffee from. There's a few different species of coffee, but that's the one with the caffeine. We've got a few vines growing up here on the chain link. There's also, you can't really see it from this angle, but there's some dragon fruit up against the fence back there. These are canna. These cool looking plants. That's a canna. It's related to ginger and banana. Everything in the ginger and banana is also related to turmeric. So that's canna. It has an edible root that tastes also like a potato. And it's just a really nice looking plant with nice flowers and everything. So I have a few of those. And they're easy to start from seed. So that's what all of these are from seed. There's an American black nightshade. So the butterflies love this vine right here. The name of the nickname is a stink vine. It's related to briar. It's related to briar, but it's not considered edible. It's very bitter. Like the shoots, because that's what you eat on briar, is like the little shoots, kind of like this right here. And although it's not edible, the long-winged zebra butterfly, which is the Florida state butterfly, love to put their larvae on here. So it's like a little nesting ground for butterflies. And since I've had this vine here, I've seen so much butterflies.
Eggs.
It's been awesome. The cat likes to come out here and just watch them. It's pretty cool. This is a tropical ginger. Gives a lot of flowers just like the turmerics do. This is a variegated ginger, the Longo ginger. This is Florida pink shell bamboo ginger. Long name. It's actually, you could take a pic from one of those. It's either called Florida bamboo ginger or giant pink shell ginger. But the reason why they call it pink shell is, well, none of them are really at the stage where they look like a shell, but a certain stage of the flowers look like a seashell. But not these stages. So there you go. That's more variegated ginger. I just got this right here I'm excited about, but I had to put an umbrella over it because it's still too young for full sun. But that is a breadfruit tree. This is, right next to it is a dwarf Cavendish. It's actually got some bananas that it's producing. Has some mulberries that I started off from clippings. These right here were just full of fruit. It would look cool to see them, but I could show you pictures. But this is two-leaf nightshade. These are trees that are in the tomato family, and it gives these little orange fruits. That's one that's like drying. It gives these orange fruits. This one's all developing a bunch that taste really good. Here goes a decent one. They taste really good, but there's not enough research on them to know if they're safe for humans to eat. A lot of the things and the Solanaceae family have a toxin that a lot of people could be sensitive to. So, but I've tasted them, and they're very sweet and have a really nice taste to it. So I would love to eat a bunch, but I don't know if it's safe. Here's a bunch of little nursery stuff. I got an oak tree, a Suriname cherry, another psychic fig, some mint, some, that's a citrus, that's a grapefruit. There's a bunch of grapefruits over here. Grapefruits, I got strawberry, poha berries, and Japanese mint or perilla growing over here. Bunch of lettuce, some mint, some brassicas. That's like a walking kale, walking stick kale, or kale tree. This is more canna. There goes the flowers I was talking about. So that's the edible canna, and this is the part that's eat here. I can see some popping off. But they make these, and they get very large. Matter of fact, this should be all dug up and replanted because I can see the big ones down there. Yeah, I'll do that after this. Maybe when I dig it up, I'll make a video on cooking it. That's the variegated, some galangal, pink bamboo, pink shell, galangal. I'll throw out here, if you see these little flowers, that's cinnamon basil. I put a whole bunch of it in here. I put green onions. It's a lot of what looks like grasses, green onions. This is a different type of canna. This one's called tropical red canna. Has kind of like a variegated thing going on with the leaves. It also gives an edible root. It's supposed to get pretty large. There's an avocado. This here is yucca or cassava. Some more galangal ginger. And we got some sweet potato growing in there with some lettuce. We're growing, this is a wild bean. It's like a wild version of of cowpeas that are growing. They're vigorous growers, so I'm trying to grow it to make like a cover. This is supposed to help with the rain, and it does. It helps a lot with the rain, this little structure that I made. But now I want it to be like a cover for all these plants. One of these lettuce is flowering. That nice little flower on it. All right, so put a lot of zinnias out too, because zinnias grow really good here in Florida. Not a lot of flowers like the heat that we get, but the zinnias don't seem to mind it. This real quick, not a lot of people know about this, is leaf of life. That's what the Jamaicans call it, leaf of life, because it's highly medicinal. It's really good if you have a cold. It's chemically, it's almost the same as the steroids that a doctor would prescribe to you, but it does not have a ring around the R protein, which probably only makes it different from being animal versus, you know, this is a plant, not an animal. So, tarragon, right there. Lots of it. There's some basil in there, some rosemary. This is a cranberry hibiscus. The leaves taste just like cranberries. There's a few of those in there. Another mulberry that I started. There's some society garlic and some flowers throughout here. This is actually a cone flower. And they recently found out that a lot of the cone flowers are just as medicinal as echinacea, which is a type of cone flower. There's a bunch of cactus and succulents, some pineapple, some aloe growing all in the front. Mostly as decoration, but I do eat the fruits off the cactus, and I use the aloe whenever I get too badly sunburned. There's a few things that I use the aloe for. Aloe is also edible. I've done a video on how to prepare it to eat it. There is some, there's some fruits on here. This is a strawberry tree or Jamaican cherry tree. Mostly only in Florida do they call it a strawberry tree because of these flowers that look very similar to strawberry flowers. Some more succulents, agave, whatnot, iris. There's this is really exciting. I just got this recently. This is an ice cream bean tree, a new addition. Just put them in about a week ago. This is a sumac. I had planted one sumac over there, but they spread through the roots. So evidently that sumac is a lot happier than it looks because it's got that one popping up, this one popping up, this one popping up. So I'm letting those stay because I would not mind a bunch of sumac because I like the berries, make a little drink from it the natives used to make. This is a custard apple. It's in the Annona family. It's a really cool fruit. These are apples that I grew from a green apple seed. Here. This here is a pond apple. I grew that from a seed. This is a sugar apple. So the sugar apple and the custard apple I purchased. Pond apple I grew, and the green apples I started from seed. There's a coconut. Started that one from seed. They grow pretty quick and easy. This is a pretty rare palm that a good friend of mine gave me. I can never remember the name of it. But if I was to peel off all that dead, you would see a pretty red trunk starting to form. This is a legume tree called Christmas ironwood. Some zinnias, some green onions grown with it. This is a hodgepodge of a lot of stuff going on over here. So there's a bunch of elder, there's some oregano, there's some grapevine, muscadine, some aloe, iris. There's a dragon fruit growing up, this old ficus. It was pretty much dead, but when I planted it, it started coming back to life. So it's got like one branch. It was braided, and it seems like one strand of the braid is still alive and the rest of it kind of died off, but it makes for a good growing post for this dragon fruit, because now that it's hit the peak where there's no more growing it could do, hopefully it'll start to fruit. Got a few different flowers that I put in here, and some of them coming up. Some of them there's a chaya, some marigolds. I recently transplanted my peppers over here because they weren't so happy where they were, and they're still not looking happy yet, but it's only been about a week. Got some oregano growing on the bottom of this mango I got from my neighbor across the street. He has a mango collection. He has like 6 different varieties. When I get an interview with him, you guys can see that. This is a pear that I started from seed, a pear tree. This is another very rare palm that I got from the same friend that gave me the other rare palm. This one I can remember the name of. This one is a thief palm, or a robber palm. Not Robert Palmer, but robber palm. Call it that because it'll stop a robber with all these thorns. Pretty loaded everywhere. Even on the leaves there's thorns. But it's a slow grower. I'm assuming it's happy because it hasn't died. It's been here for a year now. So another mango. This one I also got from my neighbor. So the first one I dug up, the squirrels planted a seed, and I noticed it, and I asked him if I could have it. He said go for it. This one he gave to me so that I could try to do some grafting, There's a failed graft right there. I'm gonna try again with this one and give these two offshoots some time, and I'll try with those next spring probably. This is an olive tree. Some oregano on the bottom there. There's some marigolds, and I just put a yucca clipping in the middle of it just the other day. This was a citrus. This is starting to die out, so I think I'm going to replace it because I'm not seeing any action. But I did put a little baby dragon fruit vine right there, so let's see what that does first. This is my oregano triangle. This is my citrus triangle. I have finger lime, tangerine, and key lime in there. Just put a yucca clipping in the middle. There's a little baby papaya starting. I'm hoping that the yucca and the papaya will make good shade, since these are typically undergrowth. Even though people grow them in full sun, when they're young, they don't like the full sun. So I need to get some more shade happening with them. And there's the avocado. So between the avocado, the yucca, and the papaya, I think this will have some shade here in a bit, probably by this time next year. Barbados cherry. I've seen flowers, have not seen fruits, but I love Barbados cherry, the flavor. That's about the closest thing we could get to a cherry, to like a regular northern cherry that we could grow. It's pretty yummy. It looks pretty similar too. That's right, this is a leaf of life, Jamaican leaf of life. It's good stuff. A little pineapple growing in there. Now this is a relative of quinoa. It's called amaranth. And you could use these empty seed pods here, where actually after it flowers, these are the flowers. You see the tiny little purple little pistons coming off of there. So it's flowers and then there's seeds, all in that little pod formation thing that it grows. It looks like feathers. And you could use all these seeds. I can see nice big seeds in there. But you could use those seeds as grains. You could cook them kind of like rice. And they have a lot of protein in it, a lot more than rice. So I'm starting some elder hedge right here. I just put these in, that's why they're looking all brown. I don't always take all the leaves off because I feel like it protects the stem from getting dried out. Some longevity spinach growing with a bunch of weeds. There was cucumber, but it got dried out. It was doing really good, and then it was just too much sun, too much heat. And these tomato cages was holding lychee tomatoes. They were doing really good too until recently. Oh, this one still has some. So these are the lychee tomatoes. And when these skins open up is when they're ready to pluck. And you shouldn't have to pull too much or else it's not really ready. So this one's not, see, that one's not ready yet. Not quite. Probably either tomorrow or later today. Same with that one. See how it's still a little bit closed up. Not quite ready. And I got some cranberry hibiscus growing in here also. There's some mint, some carrots. This is yucca, sweet potato, some zinnias. Lots more sweet potatoes, some zinnias, lots more yucca. I have them in all the corners pretty much in these beds back here. Yucca, yucca, yucca. There's an avocado, some green onion grown with the sweet potatoes. And have another tamarind. I started from seed right here. This one seems to be growing a little bit quicker. This is its first year, and the other one is on year 2, so we'll see. Got some pigeon peas. This is another Brazilian sunberry. This one lost a lot of its leaves because of it being more exposed between the wind and the sun. It drops lots of its foliage, but it's still looking fairly healthy. So I'm leaving it be. And there's some mint, some cat mint here and here. This is a tomato that did not want to submit to summer. We got some pigeon peas. This is a relative of mint called lion's ear, or Clipdaga. I think that's the Trinidadian name. They use it as a marijuana substitute in Trinidad. It's very popular for that. It's also grown ornamentally because of the cool little spiky balls with flowers on them that it grows. Another mulberry. One over here, some more zinnias. And here goes a 2-leaf nightshade that still has lots of fruits on it. You can see how cool it looks. So all these little fruits, although they're in the tomato family, that also means that they're in the nightshade family. And anything that's in that Solanaceae family, like I said before, has some toxins. Even the red tomatoes you eat all the time has like a Solanaceae toxin. It's just very little bit, and that's something you kind of build a tolerance to, I believe, because there's people who eat tomatoes constantly with no side effects, and then there's some people who, after eating 2 tomatoes, get the Solanaceae side effects. So, some peppers. There's another lychee tomato, some more hot peppers. It's got a little one growing on it right there. Not ready. All right, that's that. And then I got my hibiscus around the mailbox with snake vine. That's it, y'all. Hope you enjoyed. I'm sweating. I'm gonna go get a drink. See you next time.